Hi, I'm Rick Anthony, and welcome to the Someone You Should Know podcast, the podcast that focuses on musicians, authors, and interesting people. We like to say we're making a difference one artist at a time. So sit back, have a cold one, and get ready to meet someone you should know. Today on the Someone You Should Know podcast, we are joined by a cornerstone of Canadian rock that's been around since the early 80s. They're from Niagara Falls, Canada. They are Honeymoon Suite, and they're back for their 9th studio album called Wake Me Up When the Sun Goes Down, set to drop on the 25th, which is coming out this Friday on Frontiers SRL. And joining me to talk about the music, the legacy, and the fire that's still burning inside, we've got the chief songwriter and founding guitarist for Honeymoon Suite, Derry Grehan. How you doing, bud?
I'm great, Rick. I've been called a lot of things, but a cornerstone, that's a new one.
Oh, no.
But I'll take it.
Hey, listen, when you start talking about Canadian rock and stuff like that, you guys are always in my group as far as that goes. Derry, I found out that you were born in St. Catharines, Ontario, which is right outside of the Buffalo area, Niagara Falls area like that. I read that you started playing piano and switched to guitar at the age of 11. First question I have to ask you is, no hockey skills? You decided to go the other route. You decided to go not into sports like hockey, but you decided to go music route. Did you ever play hockey at all?
Oh, yeah, it's kind of the law in Canada.
I think it is, isn't it? Yeah,
yeah, it's required. Of course, I played hockey, junior hockey, and when I was younger, I was never very good, but I played for a few years. Yeah, and it was fun. But then I discovered, the guitar, and that was it.
Yeah, girls go for guitar rather than hockey sticks and bruises, right?
Yeah.
Very good. Are you a Sabres fan, a Leafs fan, or
probably Leafs? My daughter Leah is also crazy about hockey. She played hockey. She was a goalie, and her and I are the hockey nuts in the family, and we're kind of leaning towards the Leafs for sure.
I know, me too. I've got a lot of their cards, Marner and Tavares, and that whole line. I don't know how they lost. It just breaks my heart every time to see that. Someday it's going to happen. Someday it's going to happen.
I know. It was just so getting there, but
What got you thinking about a career in music?
Oh, well, I started playing in earnest, in high school. I started, playing in bands and jams and stuff like that. And I was obsessed with the guitar. And coming to the end of high school, I had no idea what I wanted to do. My dad was a doctor, and I'm sure he would have liked me to go that route. Yeah. I wasn't too happy when I decided, I maybe want to look at music. So I don't know. I started writing songs, and I just loved it so much. And I found this recording course in London, Ontario. Mm-hmm. That I'd heard about, some of my friends went to, and I said, that's, if I'm going to go to secondary, university or college, I'm not going to waste my parents' money. I'm going to go somewhere where I really want to be there and learn. So that's what I did. And it started there,
Right. Absolutely. Now, you're actually from the area around Niagara Falls, but you spent a lot of time in Toronto. As a matter of fact, I think you guys were actually kind of based in Toronto for a while there. Did you follow along with any other bands in that area, like Rush or any of the other bands?
Oh, yeah. My buddies and I we followed Rush since the beginning. I saw them in a concert when they had John Rutsey.
Oh, really? Back in the old days, yeah.
And Neil Peart, of course, is from St. Catharines.
That's right. That's right. He is. It's right.
Yeah, Port Dalhousie, actually, where I was born. So I never actually met Neil, unfortunately. But we've been in the same place at the same time. But we followed Rush from day one, of course.
Yeah, they're one of my all-time favorite bands, and
for sure. And, of course.
And when they finally got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it's like it's about doggone time.
Yeah.
Now we need to make a space for Honeymoon Suite in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. All right. Take us back to the early days. How did you meet Johnny, and how did Honeymoon Suite all come together?
Well, after I finished that college course I told you about, I moved up to Toronto. I was like 21, 22, and I was in a new wave band at the time because it was new wave time,
Exactly.
XTC, The Police, Stranglers, whatever. That whole scene was really big at the time. So I played in a new wave kind of pop band for a few years.
Right, yes.
made a couple of records with them. And then that folded, and I was kicking around Toronto just trying to make enough for mac and cheese, and pay my rent. It was a few tough years in there looking for a gig. And the booking agent that I knew that got me gigs with my other band, he knew Johnny. Johnny had started Honeymoon Suite about 6 months before I met him. He was from the Falls, but Johnny had also moved to Toronto, started Honeymoon Suite as a cover band, and then his guitar player quit. So just by coincidence, I'm talking to my agent one day. He said, I know this kid from the Falls. He's a pretty good singer. His guitar player just quit. Do you want to go and audition and meet him? So I did, and we hit it off right away. And we were both starving. So I jumped in the band. We learned a bunch of cover songs and went to Northern Ontario. That's how it started.
All came to be. Very good. And the formation of the rest of the sound that got you to New Girl now, as far as that first album, where did the rest of the guys come from?
When Johnny and I got together, I knew right there. I had some songs, but I'm not a lead singer. And when I heard him sing, the light bulb went off. And I said, I finally got, those are the really key ingredients in any band, is great songs and a great singer. Once you have that front man, then we started to put the rest of the band together gradually. We brought in Dave Betts and Gary Lalonde and Ray Colburn. We kind of picked these guys from other bands in Toronto because we knew we had could be something really good. And we formed, we got those guys in and we went and played cover songs for a year or two while we wrote songs. Mm-hmm. Then we submitted New Girl Now was one we were playing in our set. We played a few originals. So we sent New Girl Now into the Q107 Homegrown contest. And it won, got a lot of attention, and that led to a record deal, and boom.
And that video, I saw it so many times on MTV. It was one of my favorite videos and one of my favorite songs. And what was it like seeing your video on MTV and hearing your song coming out of the radio?
Crazy, man. Crazy. I keep alluding to Northern Ontario. We were on that 6-nighter circuit in Sudbury and Kapuskasing and Dryden. Horrible, but hey, paid the rent.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting more than craft dinner, right?
Yeah, but when we got the record deal, everything changed. All of a sudden, we're on tours, and everything changed because it really took off. And the New Girl Now, I remember we started playing in the U.S., and we were opening for, Quiet Riot at a festival down in Pennsylvania somewhere. I mean, we're all just newbies, Hey, we're in America, we're playing in America. I can't believe it. So we played our show, and then we left the festival, and we stopped in a bar in the town to have a drink. I remember sitting at the bar, and they had MTV on the TV behind the bar. And our video comes on. First time I've ever seen it. And it was like, no, holy shit. Yeah. So I knew right there, when something like that happens, it's surreal, but it was great.
I totally understand. And it was I love the video. It was really, really fun video too. I was just looking at it yesterday. I'm going, oh my gosh, the hair and everything, and you playing on the guitar and everything. It was really great, man. Really great. Yeah. Let's talk about the next album you had. It was called The Big Prize in 1986. It was one of my favorite albums of the year. I had just started working at a station in Colorado Springs, and I fell in love with Bad Attitude and Feel It Again, What Does It Take, All Along You Knew. Can you tell us about that album? It was just it's one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah, thank you. It's mine. It's mine too. Sonically, it's probably the best, the best sounding record. Mm-hmm. I mean, they have their own sound, but the production on that was outstanding. When we did The Big Prize, of course, it was our sophomore record, and a lot of pressure then because the first album had sold, hundreds of thousands and had 4 singles off of it. So, of course, the sophomore thing, we really had to step up our game. So I was writing all the time. Fortunately, we hooked up with Bruce Fairburn, who was available at the time, and Bob Rock was his engineer. And they had Little Mountain Sound, which was the place to go. And this was right before those two guys, blew up with Bon Jovi and Metallica and Aerosmith. That was right before. So to have Bruce producing and Bob Rock helping me with all the guitar sounds, the whole band was it was just everybody was firing on full. Everything the songs came together really well, and the band was cooking along.
Yeah.
And
there was no sophomore. There's no sophomore jinx there. That was a great album.
No, because we hooked up with the right people at the right time in the right studio, and sometimes the stars align.
Absolutely, and they aligned in Peoria, Illinois, back in '86 or so. Is that right? Where you met your wife, right?
Yes, and then it's in that time on the Heart tour.
Yeah.
Exactly, crazy many years ago.
Does she remember that moment also? Does she,
Oh yeah, of
Okay.
course. So girls they don't forget stuff like that.
Okay.
They have great memories, unlike guys.
Derry, I think you remember very well. That's very great, man.
Oh well, of course I remember that day. Of course.
Very good. How long have you guys been married now?
Oh, we've been married since '95.
Okay.
But we've been together almost 40 years.
Yeah.
I mean, since '86. Do the math.
Yeah. Awesome.
Long
very
time.
Good. Very good. One question I wanted to ask you on All Along You Knew, who played the flute?
That's Ian Anderson.
Oh, you got Ian Anderson to do it? You're kidding me. I didn't know that.
So our first American tour on the first album, we were opening for Jethro Tull, believe it or not.
Jeez, good Lord.
For
That's
like
perfect.
3 months on the road. And it actually worked out really well, and got to know the Ian and Martin Barr really well. And this is a long time ago. So when we were doing the big prize, we had that track All Along You Knew, but something was missing. And somebody just said one night in the studio, we should get Ian Anderson to play like a Jethro Tull kind of flute on this. And we reached out to him because turns out the big prize, although we recorded in Vancouver, we mixed it in the studio outside of London, England, where we mixed the first album, because there was a really great mix engineer there, and that's where we went to mix the big prize. Turns out Ian was maybe an hour away.
Oh, geez, nice.
Where he lived. And he did it. We reached out and we said, here's the track. Would you consider coming playing on it? And he said, sure, I will. And he came to the studio one day with his flute, and it was just me and him, because Bruce Fairbairn had to go back to Canada. So I had to record Ian Anderson. I was the producer engineer on it. And he just played some incredible stuff.
Yes, he did.
Like two takes. And I just asked him, well, why I'm glad that you really appreciate you playing on our thing. And he goes, well, no one's ever asked me before to guest on a record. So
wonderful.
Anyways, that's how that happened.
Wonderful. Now, the band has weathered changes in the industry and a lineup change through the years and stuff. What do you think is the key to the longevity of Honeymoon Suite?
Well, we're just too stupid to quit.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, we don't. John and I basically do. We don't do anything else. We don't, want to do anything else. Things were really bad, tough for us in the 90s when grunge came in. Every other melodic rock band like us, wasn't just us, it really killed our whole genre. And we toughed it out through the 90s. We had different players in the band, but Johnny and I always kept it going because we knew we had great songs, and it's got to come back someday. And persevered, man. And starting in the early 2000s, and it started. Melodic rock is now back,
right?
And thank God. I don't know. We're just happy. The state of our genre right now is really great.
Right. So. I just there's a brand new release from another melodic rock band from the late '80s called Giant. And I just had David Huff on just a couple of days ago, and they've got a brand new release, and it sounds as good as it did back in the late.
No kidding. You mean Dan Huff?
No, Dan's brother David.
Oh, so they're both in the band.
Yeah, they're still in the band. Yeah, David's doing the drums, and
and Dan's the producer. Of course,
Dan's doing all the producing and such because he's he's still in Nashville.
Now that guy, I was a huge Giant fan.
So was I.
And if they have a new record, that's great. And I find out, because I spend a lot of time in Nashville, we have a place down there too that we go to. And Dan's like an uber producer.
Yeah, he's got so many Grammys on his wall. As a matter of fact, when we were doing the video with David, there was a load of Grammys and gold records and stuff on the wall, and it's just like it's just incredible because he does a lot of production also.
crazy talented guy.
Well, it's so nice to get the melodic rock back, and your new album we're going to talk about in just a few minutes. But I was looking for a specific song I wanted to use for this first section as we're talking about your history and such. But there's just too many good ones, so I decided to make a medley of them. So I hope you don't mind. Here's a medley of past hits from Honeymoon Suite, featuring today's guest, Derry Grehan, right here on the Someone You Should Know podcast. A medley of great music showcasing the hits of Honeymoon Suite. Derry Grehan joins me from the band to talk about the brand new album, and we're going to feature some new music here in just a bit. But first, I want to say, hey, thanks so much for tuning into the Someone You Should Know podcast. Big shout out to Buzzsprout. They're the service that shares us to all the streaming platforms around the world, 17 different platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, Deezer, Pocket Casts, Amazon Music, you name it. You look for the Someone You Should Know podcast and you'll find us, okay? And also thanks to you and all these followers that we've got around the world, 2,920 cities in 109 countries and territories. It still blows my mind. And we're going to salute some out of Derry's neck of the woods. These are all Canadian. We got Kitchener, we've got Hamilton, Oshawa, We've got
Yeah.
London, Ontario. Of course, we've got Toronto, too. Thanks for being part of the journey this time on the Someone You Should Know podcast. Heard wherever quality streaming audio is available. We're speaking to one of the founding members of the band Honeymoon Suite, the founding guitarist and chief songwriter, Derry Grehan. And it's time to talk about the brand new album. It's released on Frontiers SRL. Comes out this Friday. It's called Wake Me Up When the Sun Goes Down. And what inspired the title and the direction for the new album?
The direction was just we were just continuing what we did with the last album called Alive,
right,
which is a few years back, because we started working with our producer Mike Crumpus, and it was really a great team. It was Mike and Johnny himself. We wrote and produced, and he produced everything, and we hit it off. We had a really cool thing going with our process, so. We owed Frontiers another record, so we just continued that. We started writing more songs and going to Mike's studio outside Toronto and recording there. So that's how that went, and came together really quickly compared to Alive, because we're in the middle of a pandemic trying to do that.
It's hard to be alive when you can't go anywhere or do anything.
Yeah. but this one was much easier. We were all accessible during the Alive sessions. Mike had moved to England, and Johnny and I were flying all over the place. But now Mike is back in Toronto, outside of Toronto, which is really great for us. Now we can be in the same place at the same time. It's just, the songs are really fresh. They rock, and they have some urgency to them. And it's just, the whole record is one of those where more you listen to it, you'll like it.
Awesome. We're going to listen to a song right now. And being a former pilot, the new single called I Fly really soars with me. The lyrics to I Fly are metaphorical and empowering. What's the personal experience that shaped this message of freedom and change? Did you guys go through a specific change or something like that makes you want to feel like you want to soar?
I think everybody goes through at least one of those in their lives. It's when you're writing songs, a lot of time with me, the music comes first, and then the top line, or what you call the melody, I start singing something over it, and then you start to babble out words. That's my process. Mm-hmm. And that chorus was just, when I fly, popped into my head, and it really worked well over the music. So, and Johnny liked that. So now we had our subject. So I'm going to write, what can a song be about I fly? And it became metaphorical, like you said. Just the music kind of tells me what to do. Got my wings,
Absolutely.
Done being down. It just starts popping my head. And then I turned it around to be taking off. Sometimes people, you just change your life. You move to a new place, you get out of a relationship, and you leave something behind for something better. And it's almost like flying, above.
All right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we're cleared for takeoff. Here's I Fly, some brand new music from Honeymoon Suite on the Someone You Should Know podcast.
Got my wings, done being down, thrusters on fire. It's a deafening sound. Passing V1, the city falls away. It's good to be gone. It's good to be gone. When I fly, leave the bell below, earth and sky.
New music from the album called Wake Me Up When the Sun Goes Down from Frontiers SRL. It is out on Friday. The album drops on Friday the 25th. Get yourself a couple hundred copies of it because it's Honeymoon Suite and it's fabulous music. I've been fans of this band for a very, very long time, and I know you can't go wrong with this brand new music. Derry, you've received the SoCan Classic Awards for songwriting. Yourself being a guitarist and a songwriter, do you favor one over the other, or is it kind of a blend of both?
Both.
Okay.
It's both. I play guitar and then songs happen, you know?
Okay.
And we don't take anything for granted. I mean, these songs that we recorded 30, 40 years ago are still super popular and getting airplay. As a songwriter, that's it for me. That's what I set out to do in my life, is to have that happen. And it makes me happy every time I hear it. So all those songs have been good to me.
All right, very good. Now, you got a tour of Canada right now. The 2025 tour is all over Canada. And to find out the whens and wheres, like this, let's talk about your socials. Your website is honeymoonsuiteband.com, and that'll have a listing of all the tour dates and such. What about your other socials?
We're on Honeymoon Suite on Instagram, Honeymoon Suite on Facebook. I don't know the exact tag, but if you go Facebook, put in Honeymoon Suite, you'll find us, and Instagram and TikTok. It's all there.
Awesome. Very good. Now, with the tour going on all over Canada and you living in the States, with the way things have changed as far as political climate and such, how hard is it? You're touring all over Canada, but if you were to tour the States and Canada, would that be difficult now, more difficult now than it was, say, for instance, a couple of years ago?
You know, I'm not sure. I've been on a green card the whole time.
Okay.
I've been here. I'm still a Canadian citizen. Never, ever had a problem going back and forth.
Okay.
Back in the States. Oh, no. I'm not worried about that. What pisses me off, though, is when we get a U.S. show or a tour, the visa work I have to go through for the boys. You know, the other 4 guys are Canadians. The paperwork is ridiculous, and what we have to spend just to get T1 visas, just come down and play one show.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. I was talking with another Canadian, the band Chilliwack. Do you remember them from Vancouver area?
Oh, yeah, I know all those guys.
Yeah,
of course.
they were talking about the fact that it was difficult for them to play a date in San Diego because there was one letter that was not included in their paperwork, and they would not allow them to get, to leave the airport. So they basically sent them back home.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
So they had to cancel the tour. They had to cancel that portion of the tour until the paperwork was. So they lost like 4 or 5 dates until they got all the paperwork squared away. And
that is so frustrating.
Yeah,
it's government bureaucracy, immigration. Like, if you don't have every friggin' document there, if they want to be dicks, they'll send you back.
Yeah.
And it's just too bad. But on the other side of the coin, when an American band comes into Canada, it's like, hi, guys, so you got a piece of paper? Okay, off you go. It's, no, they just come in and play Canada. That's the way it should be.
Yeah. I agree. And music is universal. So, just what would you say is the band's high water mark so far, as you guys have been around for 40, going on 50 years now? High water mark for the band. What would you say would be, Derry?
Well, number one, that we're still doing really well. We have all original members, which is crazy, except for Peter Nunn on keyboards, but the other 4 guys, all original. That's rare. We're still friends, and we're still going out there, and Johnny is singing as good as ever, and that's tough for a singer because he's got the hardest job.
Absolutely.
So to me, that's a high watermark that we're still being successful in that respect, and I just want to, keep it going.
All right.
As long as everybody's happy and healthy. Now, before that, high water marks, man, like there's been so many, but we're talking about the early days when the first album came out. Johnny and I had been slugging it out for at least 2, maybe 3 years in the bars, putting the band together. And all of a sudden we get a record deal. I think the first gold record that we got was monumental for me, as a young guy. To finally get a gold record, that's a dream come true.
All right.
And there were many, like the tours we got with Heart and ZZ Top, the people we got to meet, the places we got to go. There's been many.
All right, very good. Now, conversely, there's been times when things didn't go quite as planned. That leads into my next feature called Tales from the Road. These are those infamous road stories where things didn't go quite as planned. Kind of think of your Spinal Tap moment. It is one of those things where you plug in and all of a sudden the power blows in the entire amphitheater, or you realize you're supposed to be playing a date over here and you're in another town or whatever. What would be maybe Honeymoon Suite's Tales from the Road?
Oh, there's been many. Some I can't mention, of course, but the 80s was a party. It was a good time, you know. Everything was excess, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But we kept it together. What's Tales from the Road? I can only think of a couple funny things when back when we were touring the States, I think on the Heart tour, I had a pair of really tight pants and I was on stage and I did a jump and the whole back, the butt ripped wide open and no underwear on, of course. So I had to kind of face frontwards the rest of the set because I was completely exposed in the back.
Or have some gaffer tape, you know.
Yeah, I've seen that happen.
So your pants spit out. This wasn't in Peoria, was it? Where you met your wife? Was it?
No.
I was going to say that would be a perfect way to get girls.
I got two other things. I remember we were playing in San Francisco at the Cow Palace when we were opening for ZZ Top.
Okay.
And we were right in the middle of What Does It Take? And some dumbass threw a pocket knife and hit me in the head.
Oh, geez.
Right in the forehead. And it wasn't open, but it was a little metal pocket knife. Came right, bang, right in my forehead. And I was right in the middle of the solo. And it just stunned me. And I wanted to go out and kill the guy. But we made it through the set. So
wow.
It just taught us that in America, keep your head up. Because sometimes things come flying up, unfortunately. And the last thing I'll say, and this is another bummer story, but when we were on tour with Heart, we were about to play the Meadowlands in New Jersey, was one of our shows. And we were all staying in New York City the night before. The crew was out in New Jersey with the truck at a hotel near the arena. And they got up in the morning and the truck was gone.
Oh, jeez. Oh,
yeah, big rider truck. So I lost maybe 7 guitars.
Oh no!
All my gear, pedals. All the guys lost drums. Everything was in their wardrobe. Yeah, they found the truck a few days later with some empty cases, but that was a real bummer.
Oh,
but
goodness.
We actually played the show that night because when the Heart people heard about it, they rallied and they went out and got us amps and drums, and we actually played the show. So there you go.
Awesome. Ann and Nancy, great groups, lovely ladies, and excellent guitarists too. Very, very underrated. One of the best of all time. Very good. Very good. Hey, the last song we're going to feature here is also from Wake Me Up When the Sun Goes Down. It's called Stay This Time. What's the backstory on Stay This Time?
Stay This Time was like at the end of the whole process. We had a deadline to submit the album to Frontiers, and we went over everything. And it's like, hey, we only got 9 songs. Frontiers wants 10. And they're like, holy shit, what do we got? Started going through the demos we did when we were writing, and we found this idea. And it was just a rough idea. But we wrote it really quickly because there's something about it that was really good. So it was one of those songs that came together very quickly at the end because we needed it, but it turned out to be a single. So there you go.
All right. Very good. We're going to feature that song as we close up the podcast for this time. And once again, we're speaking with Derry Grehan. He's one of the founding members of Honeymoon Suite. And I really and truly am very excited to hear that you've got some new music out because, like I say, I loved your old stuff. So I'm going to definitely love your new stuff, too. It's been a treat to have you on, man. And I wish you nothing but the very, very best.
Thanks, Rick. It was great talking to you. Appreciate it.
But I didn't know
Hi, this is Rick Anthony, thanking you again for listening to this episode of Someone You Should Know. Now, if you're an aspiring musician or an established musician that's looking for a little exposure, I invite you to drop us a line at someoneyoushouldknowpodcast@gmail.com. That's someoneyoushouldknowpodcast@gmail.com. Also, I invite you to tell a friend about the Someone You Should Know podcast. I thank you for tuning in this time, and I invite you to check us out next time on the Someone You Should Know podcast, because you never know who's going to show up. Until next time, remember, God loves you, and so do I.